Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while since we've done this, but I'm sure we all remember how this works. So I go through the notes that you follow along, and you actually watch the video to try to understand and learn what's going on. And if you have any questions, then you raise your hand and you ask me. Please don't continue to watch the video if you don't understand something. That's why I am here, to help you along with the videos. Okay. So today we are going to be learning about our systems of linear equations through substitution. So the past 2 days we were learning through graphing. Today we're going to do substitution. So this is our method to solve systems of linear equations. So we had our method 1 of graphing, today is method 2 of substitution, and after this we will have one more method, okay? But don't worry, we're going to do more practice on this tomorrow. So we have 3 steps to solve. So our first step, solve one equation for x or y. Then step 2, substitute this expression into the other equation and solve for that variable. And that sentence will make more sense when we actually do a practice problem. Step 3, substitute your answer into the revised equation from step 1 and solve for the other variable. Yep, hold on. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out the light situation. There we go. Okay. Sorry, my lighting was all off, and now we're back. Okay, so those are our 3 steps, and now let's try it. Okay, so this is our first example. Number 1, y equals 6x, and 2x plus 3y equals negative 20. So our step 1, solve one equation for x or y, meaning that we want to get either x equals or y equals. Okay, so do I have an x equals or a y equals in step 1? Yes, the y equals 6x satisfies our step 1. So we can go ahead and skip step 1. All right, step 2, substitute this expression, meaning substitute whatever we solved for or didn't have to solve for into our other equation and solve for the remaining variable. Okay? So this means that we are going to rewrite 2x plus 3. Now, here is the tricky part, okay? It says y. So wherever there's a y, we are going to substitute in this 6x. So we're going to put parentheses, and we're going to put 6x. And then equals negative 20. Okay? All we did was substitute the 6x for y, because y equals the 6x, meaning they're the same thing. Okay, and now we are going to solve for our variable x. Okay, so let's see, we substituted. Let me do it in a different color. And now we're going to solve for x. So, first thing we need to do, distribute this 3 times the 6x. Okay? So bring down your 2x, and then 3 times 6 gives us 18x. Good. And it equals negative 20. All right? Now what are we going to do? Combine our like terms. So 2x plus 18x will give us 20x equals negative 20. Divide by 20. So x equals negative 1. Good. So here we solved for x. Alrighty. And now, what was that third step? it says to substitute our answer into the revised equation, meaning the equation that we got from step 1, which means that we didn't have to do anything here, okay? And then we're going to solve for our other variable. So since we already solved for x, this time we're going to solve for y. Okay, so it says to use our revised equation from step 1. This is the y equals 6x. Okay, then we want to substitute our answer. Our answer was this x equals -1. So everywhere there's an x, we're going to put -1. Substitute -1 for x. Okay? And then we are going to solve. So what is 6 times -1? -6. So here we solved for y. And that's our answer. X equals -1 and y equals -6. So when we write our answer, it's going to be in the coordinate point form of, so answers are over here, of -1, -6. Just like when we were graphing, this is the point of intersection of these two lines. So if we graph these two lines, that's where they would intersect at that point. Okay? So this is just another way to find that intersection point. Okay? Let's try another one. Okay. This time we have y equals x plus 9, and we have 3x plus 8y equals -5. Do I have an x equals or a y equals somewhere? Why, yes, I do. Excellent. We have y equals x plus 9, so we can go ahead and skip step 1. But now we need to do step 2, which is substitute. So we're going to substitute this x plus 9 everywhere we see a y. So let's go ahead and copy down 3x plus 8. Up, there's a y. So what am I going to substitute? The x plus 9 equals -5. Okay? All right. And so now we are going to solve for x. So first thing I need to do is distribute that 8. 8 times x, 8 times 9. Give everybody a moment to do it on their calculator. Gives us 72. Okay, combine your like terms. So we have 3x plus 8x, which will give us 11x. Then we are going to subtract the 72 from both sides. I'm running out of space. Alright, so -5 minus 72 is going to give us -77. So x is going to equal -7. Okay? And so that's our first answer. So now we have done step 2. We need to do step 3. We are going to substitute in the x equals -7 into our y equals x plus 9. So I'm going to go ahead and copy down x plus 9. Oops, y equals. And then everywhere there's an x, we are going to substitute our answer. So we're going to substitute this -7. So y equals -7 plus 9. What's -7 plus 9? Do it in your calculator if you can't figure this out. It's going to be +2. So then we have our answers of y equals 2 and x equals -7. And so this is going to be our coordinate point of -7, positive 2. Good so far? Alright, let's try the next one. Alright, so we are going to look for step 1. Look for x equals or y equals. Do we have either of those? Why, yes we do. We have x equals 4y plus 7, so we're changing it up a little bit. And so now, everywhere there's an x, we are going to substitute this 4y plus 7. Okay? So we have 2x, which means that we are going to substitute 4y plus 7. And minus 6y equals 12. Okay? So now we are going to solve for y. So start by distributing. So we get 8y plus 14 minus 6y equals 12. Combine your like terms. What is 8y minus 6y? It's going to give us 2y. Oops. This is 12. Subtract 14 from both sides. And so we're going to get 2y equals 12 minus 14. It's going to give us negative 2. Then we are going to divide both sides by 2. So what's y equal? Negative 1. Okay? So we have completed step 2. Now we need to do step 3. Remind me, what's step 3? We need to go to our original equation, our x equals, and we're going to substitute this negative 1 everywhere we see a y. So we're going to copy down x equals 4y plus 7. Everywhere we see a y is going to be that negative 1. So x equals 4y, negative 1, plus 7. Now solve for x. So x equals 4 times negative 1 gives us negative 4 plus 7. Negative 4 plus 7 gives us positive 3. And so now we have our coordinate point of 3, negative 1. Because remember, x always comes before y. Alright, ready to shake things up a little bit? Of course not, but that's okay. Alright, so now let's take a look at number 4. Do we have an x equals? No. Do we have a y equals? No. Okay, so when you don't have either x or y equals, we have to rearrange one of our equations. So I'm going to give you a helpful hint. Alright, if you do not have a number in front of one of your variables, so do you see there's that 2 in front of x and this negative 3 in front of y? Move to your next equation, okay? There's a 2 in front of the x. There is no number in front of this y. So use the equation with no number in front of the letter to solve, okay? So I'm going to copy down the 2x plus y equals 9, because for the first time we actually have to do step 1, okay? So how am I going to get y by itself? I am going to subtract 2x from both sides. So I'm going to get y equals negative 2x plus 9. Now do I have y equals? Good. Okay, so this equation is this one. They're the exact same thing, okay? So now we have to use this first equation to do step 2. Okay? So we are going to copy down the 2x minus 3, and everywhere there's a y, we are going to substitute the negative 2x plus 9. Pause the video, take a moment to process. Alright, so hopefully you have spent that moment processing, and we are going to move on. So, we have our x's, we need to solve for x. So first thing we need to do is distribute this negative 3. So negative 3 times negative 2, positive 6x. Negative 3 times positive 9, negative 27, equals negative 11. Combine our like terms, 2x plus 6x gives us 8x. And then we are going to add 27 to both sides. So 8x equals 16. Divide by 8. And we should get x equals 2. Okay? Alright. Third and final step. We are going to take our equation from step 1, meaning this one. And so we're going to rewrite y equals negative 2x plus 9. And everywhere there's an x, we are going to substitute 2. So y equals negative 2 times 2 plus 9. Solve for y. Y equals negative 4 plus 9. So y equals 5. So all this means is that those two lines will intersect at 2, 5. Alright, if you have any questions, now is the time to raise your hand and ask. Okay? If you don't have any questions, let's move on. But if you do have questions, please ask me, because we're about to do a whole lot more on the back page. Alrighty. So, check and look if you have x equals or y equals. Nope. Okay. So then look for the equation where there is no variable in front of, there is no number in front of one of your variables. Which equation is that, the first or the second? Right, the first one. There is no number in front of this y. So we are going to copy down the 2x plus y equals negative 2. And we're going to solve for y. So we're going to subtract this 2x. So we're going to get y equals negative 2x minus 2. So again, this equation is right here. Okay? Which means that we have to use the second equation for our step 2. So we have 5x plus 3y. So everywhere there's a y, we're going to substitute in this equation. Negative 2x minus 2 equals negative 8. So a good rule of thumb, if you get to your second step and you still have x's and y's, you did something wrong. You should only have one letter, like an x or a y, in your second step. Okay, so now we're going to solve for x. Combine your like terms. Can we have a negative x? Nope. So just change your signs of everything. So we have x equals 2. So now for our third step, we are going to go back to our step 1 and copy down our y equals. And everywhere there's an x, we are going to substitute 2. Negative 2 times 2 gives us negative 4 minus 2. Y equals negative 6. So then over here, our coordinate point is 2, -6. Okay? Alrighty, number 6. We have x plus 5y equals 4 and 3x plus 15y equals -1. So which one are we going to start to solve for? Right, so we're going to use x plus 5y equals 4. We are going to subtract the 5y so that x equals -5y plus 4. Okay, so that's our step 1. So this equation is now down here, which means we have to use our second equation of 3 times x, up x is now our -5y plus 4, plus 15y equals -1. Okay, so 3 times -5 gives us -15y plus 12 plus 15y equals -1. Okay, so -15y plus 15y will give us 0, plus 12 equals -1, so 12 equals -1, which means that there is no solution. Hold on. Is that right? Hold, please, for Miss Johnson. Okay, yeah, this one has no solution. Because 12 does not equal -1. Right? Unless I copied something down wrong, but I don't think so. Cool, no solution. Alrighty. So yeah, once you get 12 equals a different number, that's not possible because 12 doesn't equal -1, 12 equals 12, and -1 equals -1. So if you get to that point, you can stop and you have no solution. Always check your work, just like I did. I went back and made sure that we did this right, and then I made sure that 3 times -5, -15y plus 12 plus 15y equals -1, which is this equation. So always go back and check, just to make absolutely sure. But yeah, we did that one right, so we're moving on. Alrighty, 7. Y equals 4x and x plus y equals 5. Okay, do we have a y equals or an x equals? Yay, we do. So we can go ahead and skip step 1 and automatically go to step 2. So x plus y, which is now our 4x, equals 5. So x plus 4x equals 5x equals 5. Divide by 5, and so x equals 1. Okay? And so now our final step, we are going to take our x and substitute it into our equation from step 1. So y equals 4. That one was pretty easy, right? At least I hope it was. Okay, what about 8? That's right, we have x equals, so we can go ahead and skip step 1. So we have 3x, so we're going to substitute that -4y plus 2y equals 20. 3 times -4 gives us -12y. -12 plus 2y gives us -10y. Divide by -10. So y equals -2. So now we're going to substitute this -2 into our first equation. So x equals -4 times -2. So x equals +8. So over here, our solution is 8, -2. Oops. Okay. How are we doing so far? Doing okay? Alright, then let's keep rolling. Alright, we are on number 9. So we have y equals 3x plus 8 and 5x plus 2y equals 5. Since we already have y equals, we can go ahead and skip to step 2. So we have 5x plus 2y. So instead of y, we're going to put 3x plus 8 equals 5. Okay, start solving for x. So 5x plus 6x plus 16 equals 5. Combine our like terms for 11x plus 16 equals 5. Subtract 16 from both sides. 11x equals negative 11. So then x equals negative 1. Okay. So now for step 3, we go back to our step 1 equation. Y equals 3x plus 8. And we're going to substitute this negative 1 everywhere we see an x. So y equals negative 3 plus 8. So y equals 5. Oops, can't see our answer choices up here anymore. So then we have negative 1, positive 5. There we go. Alright, so now for number 10, we have 6x plus 3y equals 54 and 2x plus y equals 18. So once again, we do have to do step 1. So look for the letter without a number in front of it. So we're going to use our second equation. So 2x plus y equals 18. And we're going to solve for the letter without the number. So subtract 2x. So y equals negative 2x plus 18. Okay, so there's our step 1. For step 2, we are going to use our, whoops, hold on. Forgot to do our arrows so that we know which equation we used. So we're going to use our other equation, this one, and we're going to substitute in this everywhere we see a y. So 6x plus 3, so negative 2x plus 18 equals 54. So now we're going to solve for x. So 3 times negative 2 will give us negative 6x. 3 times 18 will give us 54. 6x minus 6x gives us 0. Plus 54 equals 54. So 54 equals 54. Okay, so when we have 54 equals 54, or 1 equals 1, or 2 equals 2, so on and so forth, this is where we have infinite solutions. So any number works, okay? So here we can put infinity, because 54 will always equal 54. Are you okay with that? Alrighty. Okay, so now for number 11. I'm just going to scooch that. Oop, not that much. Okay. For number 11, we have y equals 4x minus 1 and y equals 2x minus 5. Oh my gosh, this time we have two y equals. What are we going to do? Well, you are going to pick one of your equations to be step 1 and one of your equations to be step 2. Okay? So I'm going to pick the first one as our step 1. Okay? So we solved for that one. And so for step 2, we're going to use y. Oh, okay. So 4x minus 1 equals 2x minus 5. So basically, whenever we have y equals twice, we're just going to set both of these equations equal to each other, like I did right here. Okay? And then we're just going to solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides to get 2x minus 1 equals negative 5. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, sorry guys. Adding 1 to both sides. I've just been on this thing for too long. Okay, so we get 2x equals negative 4. Divide by 2, so x equals negative 2. But guys, we're so close, we're almost to the last one. Okay, and then we are going to pick our, actually for this one it doesn't matter which one we substitute. X equals negative 2, it'll give us our same answer. So I will show you doing both of them. So y equals 4 times negative 2 minus 1. So y equals negative 8 minus 1. So y equals negative 9. Awesome. And just to show you really quickly that it doesn't matter which equation that you use, y equals 2 times negative 2 minus 5. Y equals negative 4 minus 5. Y equals negative 9. Therefore, it doesn't matter which one you use. So then going back up here, our answer is negative 2, negative 9. And we are finally on our last problem. Yay! Alright, so we are going to do our first step. So obviously we want to solve for that one. So we're going to add 3y to both sides to get x equals 3y minus 2. Our step 2, whoops, okay, for step 2, we have our second equation, 10x, so we now have 3y minus 2 plus 8y equals negative 20. So 10 times 3 gives us 30y minus 20 plus 8y equals negative 20.
I need the following teachers to report to room 2138 on
Alright,
K Hall.
so combine our like terms.
Sergeant Major
38y
Ms. Moat,
minus
please
20
report to 2138
equals
on
negative
K Hall,
20.
please.
So we're going to add 20 to both sides. So when we add 20 to both sides, we're going to get 38y equals 0. And then we are going to divide by 38 on both sides. So we are actually going to get y equals 0. Okay? Which is still an answer. Alright, so now we're going to go back to our equation from step 1. So x equals 3 times 0 minus 2. X equals 0 minus 2. X equals negative 2. Okay? So then our answer, way up here, is going to be negative 2, 0. And guys, we did it. We completed our notes. Yay! So now I want you to go onto Delta Math and do all of that systems of equations substitution practice. Okay, it will say substitution, so use the substitution one.